This sound gotta be good because I ain't doing this again. Hi, my name is Venus and welcome to my show. Okay, so a couple weeks ago I was at Comic-Con Summer in Kistamässan. This is my review of the con. I was there as a competitioner. I had actually requested to come in as a creator, but because I just started with this, I got denied. I decided to get people's opinions and my opinions into what I thought about the con. I thought the most easiest way is to just destruct this con by a tier list. The tier list is price, crowd, food, artist alley, and competition, because I mostly participate in all of the competitions at every con I attend. So let's start with Artist Alley. So this is the map of Comic-Con. Do you see something here? Do you see how tiny Artist Alley is? Most of us enter a con with the intention to go to Artist Alley because Artist Alley is where you can get most of the merchandise you are mostly fond over. There was a lot of artists at this Comic-Con that was really refreshing. I loved to see that there's so many different artworks and you could almost find anything that you wanted at the Artist Alley. But there was a teeny tiny problem. It was teeny tiny. It was really small for being a part of the con, and compared to where they usually have it at Älvsjömässan, so Comic-Con Winter, it was really small. One of my close friends was like, hey girl, let's hop on Artist Alley the first thing we did. And I kid you not, I was like, girl, I need to leave. I am body to body with everyone. And I decided to have a Reina cosplay, so I was with a jacket at the same time. Per usual, Artist Alley does cost to be at, but the problem was that it was really expensive. I didn't think the prices was really that nice because they have to get there. They gotta transport their art and they got to advertise themselves with the con. And then you have to pay 300 crowns, no 300, I'm sorry, 3,000 crowns to have a table there. And for how cramped it was, that doesn't seem profitable. I am also basing this prices of the advertisement they did right after the con, where they asked artists to have a table again, and it cost like around 3,000 crowns. I don't feel like that's really profitable for the artist because, as said, they are independent artists. It isn't just to boom, art's there. They gotta put time in making the art, they gotta publish themselves, they got a price tag, and they have to go plus at some point. And due to Comic-Con only being 2 days, that feels insane. You're paying around 1,500 crowns for a day. You gotta ring that in with all your transport and all your hotel rooms or whatever you're sleeping at, also commuting in Stockholm, and then you get a profit. Do you hear me? I'm gonna give every category its own rankings. I'm gonna give Artist Alley 3 out of 5. It is amazing, but I'm more concerned about the artists and I don't like how small it was. Next up is crowd. Well, we at it. This is not me ranting about Comic-Con, this is an honest review, but the crowd was crazy. That's... ooh, okay, wait. Comic-Con has, in a very long time, had their venue at Kistamässan, but with how big the con is, I don't think they can have it there anymore. The con was so tight, it was so cramped. You could really feel it on the Saturday when they had sold out tickets, both for the weekend tickets and the daily tickets. And when you were in there, you could feel in the Saturday that the walls were caving in. It was quite claustrophobic. It didn't feel sustainable to have that, and I feel like they need a bigger venue for the amount of people that knows about Comic-Con and comes to Comic-Con. I will give, like, crowd-wise, like a 2 out of 5. It isn't the best, but like, and I will give it I will give it 2 because the Sunday that it wasn't sold out didn't feel that claustrophobic. I was also mostly backstage putting my cosplay together for the competition, so I really can't say much. Okay, food. I have a lot of opinions. I have always been super critical when it comes to con foods due to me being both allergic and being friends with a lot of vegetarians. So we often have a hard time finding food that works for us because I'm allergic to a lot of vegetarian foods of my allergies. I actually was really bad at eating at this con due to the crowd, but I did ask most of my friends that was mostly around and ate of the con food, and I tried to get people's opinions on it. I really liked that there was an outdoor space that you could sit and you could like get a lot of food, so the whole venue didn't have to smell like food as it sometimes tend to do. It was also like a good amount of spacing where you could sit. It wasn't like the best, but you could always find somewhere to sit. It didn't feel like you were buying food and then now you're scouring around to find somewhere to sit, and then when you find somewhere to sit, the food was cold. I didn't stress that much about the food as I usually do when it comes to plays and different stalls, because I did feel like they had a good variety of different foods that you could eat. So I'm giving it like a solid 3 out of 5, almost like touching a 4, because that said, it wasn't amazing. It was something I would be like, yay! But like, it was doing better than most of the cons I've been at, and I did not feel suffocated. I have a beef with vendors. Disclaimer, this is not vendors that are like small artists that has like the little pottery or like their own brand going on. I'm talking with people that have like bootleg, AliExpress, 3D printed dragon type of beef. Stop! I'm gonna grab your hand when I tell you the story because I need this to be out. When I was younger, my first Comic-Con was actually 2013. I was there because like my best friend at the time was like, hey, my dad wants to go to Comic-Con, you want to join with us? And I said, yes! I got to play some video games, I saw a lot of like superheroes, I loved Artist Alley at the time. But the thing is, I came out of the con and was like, I'm never going back because there were vendors with full-on body pillows. And I remember younger me was like, ew, anime is weird and like cons are weird because of this. Younger me would never believe that I'm going to cons and competing and loves anime, because that was so weird. And I know that a lot of kids are seeing these things and thinking exactly as I did when I was younger. Why am I seeing someone that's the same age as me on a body pillow in a drawn with her ass out? And why do I see 4 of those stalls? That's crazy. The worst part is that the people that are selling them are super sweet and like really nice. But why are you here? The cons never actually navigate and watch what they're actually putting out. This damages the cons brand. Like, people associate this with cons. I don't think that's okay. This is not only a Comic-Con problem, because I know most of the cons I go to do tend to do this. The only con I didn't have this problem with was DreamHack. You heard me right. DreamHack. I went to 4 cons, only DreamHack didn't have this problem, and this was insane. The people were crazy though. And this tells you the problem and the issue with this. Why am I seeing a minor character's butt cheeks at the play area? This makes no sense. My hate for vendors do run deeper than my hate for anything else. Even the delivery guy at my work. Sorry, vendor gets like a 1 out of 5. Almost a 0, because it's getting a 1 because all the small vendors hold that on the back of their backs. Like, they're holding it, they're doing so nice, they're so polite. Next up, competitions. This con was so amazing to a point that I didn't believe that there were like 1 to 2 to 3 people that were managing the whole thing, with obviously some help of the Comic-Con staff and the volunteers. But the main people that were arranging it, you couldn't tell that it was 3 people just doing it. The communication was amazing. The prices was really good and fair. I would do anything to be a judge at that competition because I felt that was amazing that they had both brackets of best of something and then like judge's choice. You really got to showcase your work. You got the time and you got to show it off. You got to see it. That's amazing in every point. You could really feel that this competition was made by a cosplayer for cosplayers. And that was such a fresh breath of air that I haven't felt in a long time. And I did feel like that raised my standards like from like here to like solid here. Like that was insane. I will give the competition a 5 out of 5 because this has given me a whole new standard, and I think a standard should be that at least one competition cosplayer should help out with cosplay competitions so the events know what we want and what we expect and what we need. Okay, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room, the price. Comic-Con was quite expensive. I can't really complain due to me getting in for free due to me being in the competition. I actually, as said in the beginning of the video, did ask to be a creator. I got denied, but I could compete, so I was like, hey, I can compete because I was already gearing up to make this cosplay. It's a bit crazy because I did see the price online. I wanted to go with my friend, and if I didn't get into the competition, I knew I was not going to Comic-Con. It was way too expensive, and that's insane because Comic-Con used to be my go-to con. It's always been a little bit expensive because it is in the capital. It's quite like venue. And the worst part is it was only for 2 days. It wasn't even like a 3-day con where it's like, okay, I am putting around like 1,000 crowns in. It's fine. It's 3 days. No, it was 2. That's 500 per day. I'm sorry. And I also have to commute in the capital. A 1-hour ticket costs like 50 crowns, like around there. And that's not in account with like the meets and greets, the hotel, the food. I am also lucky enough that I used to live in the capital. I grew up in the capital, so I know a lot of people and I can stay at their places, so I don't have to think about hotel, but I have to commute to the capital now, and you gotta pay to get there too. People that are maybe not creators or maybe not like competitioners, they are monthly children. What I imagine is like, Mom, can I get like this amount of money to get to a 1-day con? Can I also get some food money? I remember when I was younger and I had to ask my parents, oh, can I get 200 crowns and then another 100 to get some food to go 1 day at Comic-Con? Because it wasn't that bad. Now, I feel like kids have to ask, hey, can I get like 500 crowns and then maybe 200 to get food? And on top of that, they want to obviously buy merch. I'm sorry, if I was like 13 living in this economy and cosplaying, I would have dropped it within like a year. I will give the pricing like a 2 out of 5 because it's almost touching like a 1 because it isn't that great about it and it does not compensate up for the problems that comes with the pricing. You get there and you have to pay like a big chunk to even be there, and then on top of that you gotta pay everything that's inside the con, and that's really sad. We do have some Q&A and meets and greets that are for free, and that I love, but it's quite sad that if you want to see like your fave voice actor or your fave like game developer, you gotta pay. I really do get it, you gotta pay them to be there, but like I feel like there should be like a bundle, like if you buy a ticket and a meet and greet, you get the ticket a little bit cheaper, because that makes no sense. Okay, now I'm gonna put in people's reviews and like their own opinions into this now. Ooh, Oh, that hit the spot. I'm sorry, you can see also how beat I was after the first day. Off my poll, I asked people what was the best thing about the con, and people said it was Artist Alley and the people. It was supposed to be the crowd. So I'm not assuming it's the crowd. The people is mostly your friends and people that you want to meet up with and like the community, and it seemed like people were mostly there at Comic-Con to meet people and being around their friends and stuff and being an artist alley. Food court and vendors did get like a full 0, not a single vote, not anywhere to be seen, and that's just telling. And then what was the worst part about Comic-Con was vendors. And then next up was the food court, because I did hear that people did have a hard time maybe getting around some food. As said, wasn't there, couldn't really say anything about it. And next up was actually Artist Alley. That's a little bit concerning. And then I asked personally, what did you think about Comic-Con? Okay. The first person that commented said there is way too many people, they can't sell that many tickets for such a small space. Another one said it was overcrowded, too few artist alley tables, and overpriced. And then another one said it was too expensive. As this, like, all of them are saying it was too overcrowded and the price that you pay to get in there was not worth the money. And I do really get it, but it is still like a fun con to be at, and there's a lot of things to do, but it's really sad because it does get overshadowed with like the crowd and like the overwhelmingness about the con. I don't want to feel that because Comic-Con does have a special place in my heart. It was my first con, it's been my go-to con, but I do feel like it's a bit on the back burner due to me not liking where it's going. I want to give a really special thank you to everyone that answered their opinions on the polls and actually answered honestly and gave me their feedback, because it did help me write and like put this down more consistently. And I did feel like I wasn't alone doing this, so thank you so much. I do love this con, I really do. I love the people that I always meet. I always get so much closer and I feel like such a community with the con, but it is a bit sad that I have to pay the fattest paycheck to get there. I'm really thankful for everyone that participated at this poll and gave me their feedbacks, because it does really help me to structure up the video and also not feeling crazy that I feel the feelings that I do. If you want to be a part of the crew membership, please follow me on my Instagram to help me do the polls and give me your honest opinions, and subscribe to get to know if your opinion will get in here, because I'm not that famous yet. I love you guys so much. This video is pain to film because I have filmed it 4 times. So please support. Love you. Mwah.
Sup? Oh! So, we're at the con. It is crowded and overstimulating. Oh, vai för min kamera där. Hello? Hello?